remember the biggest songs of 1975? Think again. Tonight, we're bringing back 10 one-hit wonders that once filled American radios, cars, and dance floors. Some may bring back a first love, others a summer long forgotten. And number one, you'll know it instantly. Stay with us. Your next memory is only seconds away.
Her mind was breaking. I said, get some sleep.
Number 10. Chevy Van, Sammy Johns.
She's gonna lock me in my Chevy van, and that's all right with me.
If you drove anywhere in America in 1975, there was a good chance Chevy Van was already playing somewhere nearby. Sammy Johns turned an ordinary vehicle into a symbol of freedom, adventure, and life beyond the next highway exit. It wasn't glamorous or complicated. It simply felt like the open road.
'Cause like a princess she was laying there, moonlight dancing overhead.
Picture the America of that time. Gas stations along two-lane highways, roadside diners, station wagons in parking lots, and AM radio filling the car as the miles disappeared behind you. Chevy Van became part of that landscape, reaching number 3 on the U.S. pop chart.
You could go rock from end to end.
But decades later, the real power of the song isn't its chart position. It's what happens when you hear it again. Suddenly, you remember a road trip, an old car, a summer afternoon, or someone sitting beside you. For a few minutes, 1975 doesn't feel like history. It feels like yesterday.
Like a princess she was laying there, moonlight dancing overhead. Feelings for my life.
Number 9. Feelings, Morris Albert. Some songs remind you of a place. Feelings reminds you of someone. Morris Albert turned heartbreak into a melody so simple that almost anyone could attach their own story to it. In 1975, the song became one of those records you seemed to hear everywhere, eventually reaching number 3 on the U.S. pop chart. Maybe you heard it late at night beside a glowing transistor radio. Maybe you were thinking about your first serious relationship, someone who had walked away, or a person you secretly hoped would come back. The beauty of the song was that it never told you exactly whose story it had to be.
Again in my life.
That is why it still feels personal today. The clothes changed, the cars disappeared, the record players were replaced. But heartbreak stayed the same. One familiar melody can suddenly bring back a face, a conversation, or a feeling you thought had disappeared decades ago. Sometimes the oldest songs know exactly where your memories are hiding.
Never been away, hey. Never seen a day break.
Number 8. Magic, Pilot.
Music in my head, crazy music playing in the morning.
Remember when an ordinary afternoon could feel like the beginning of summer vacation? Pilot's Magic had exactly that kind of energy. Bright, melodic, and instantly catchy, it sounded like sunshine coming through the speakers of an AM radio while you were heading somewhere with friends.
I love a sunny day, dream of far away, dreaming.
For teenagers growing up in the mid-1970s, life was filled with moments that seemed completely ordinary. Meeting friends after school, waiting for Friday night, cruising around town with the windows down, sitting outside after dinner while the evening slowly disappeared. Nobody stopped to think those moments would someday become precious.
Never seen a day break, leaning on my pillow in the morning.
Magic reached number 2 on the U.S. pop chart. But its lasting power isn't really about the number. It's about what the song represents. Youth before responsibilities arrived. Summer before adulthood changed everything. And when that melody returns decades later, you may realize you're not missing 1975 as much as you're missing the person you were back then.
Ho, ho, it's magic. You know, I gave you love. I thought that we had met
Number 7. Sky High, Jigsaw.
without a reason why. You've blown it all sky.
Turn up Sky High, and the 1970s seemed to arrive within seconds. Jigsaw created a dramatic, soaring record that sounded enormous through an AM radio speaker. It had romance, energy, and just enough mystery to make an ordinary moment feel like part of a movie.
I gave you love. I thought that we had made.
The song climbed to number 2 on the US pop chart, becoming one of the memorable hits associated with the year. But chart success doesn't explain why certain records stay inside people's memories for 50 years.
Why did it have to stop? You've blown it all sky.
Maybe Sky High played while you were driving home after school. Maybe it was part of a summer romance. Maybe you heard it while thinking about what your future might look like. You may forget the exact day a song entered your life, but your mind can preserve the emotion. That is music's strange gift. It forgets dates while remembering feelings. One melody can unlock a door that time never completely closed.
'Cause your eyes, they light the night, they look right through me.
Number 6. Poetry Man, Phoebe Snow.
You know that you don't have to go. You're the poetry man.
There was nothing ordinary about Phoebe Snow. When Poetry Man reached American radio, her voice immediately stood apart from the polished pop surrounding it. Soul, jazz, folk, and pop seemed to meet in one remarkable performance, creating a song that sounded sophisticated without losing its warmth.
All I ask for is your smile each time I rub a lamp.
The record reached number 3 on the US pop chart, but its real strength was the story hiding beneath that beautiful arrangement. This wasn't simply a perfect romance. It was fascination mixed with uncertainty, the feeling of being drawn towards someone who may never completely belong to you.
I have a giggling teenage crush, then I'm a sultry man.
Today, Poetry Man recreates an entire atmosphere. Dim living rooms, vinyl records spinning late at night, and conversations that continued long after everyone else had gone to bed. Music demanded attention differently then. There were fewer distractions competing for every second. Perhaps that is why Phoebe Snow still feels so close today. Her voice doesn't sound like history. It sounds like someone sitting beside you, telling you a secret.
It's time to say so long and softly call the Lord.
Number 5. Cars, Gary Newman. Now things get strange, because in 1979, Gary Newman released a song that sounded like it had arrived from the future. Cars wasn't built around the usual rock formula. It was cold, mechanical, electronic, and completely different from most of what was dominating the radio. Yet somehow, it worked. Cars reached number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became Gary Newman's signature American hit. What seemed unusual in 1979 eventually became influential. Its synthesizers and detached vocal style helped point toward the electronic and synth-pop sounds that would become much bigger in the 1980s. And that's why listening to Cars today can feel almost surreal.
I can listen
The song wasn't simply describing a machine. It sounded like the machine was singing. A record from 1979 that still feels futuristic more than 4 decades later. Maybe Gary Newman wasn't predicting the future. Maybe he was already living in it.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52, lying awake at 10.
Number 4. Video killed the radio star, the Buggles.
They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine.
This song didn't just become a hit, it became a piece of music history. Video Killed the Radio Star was released by the Buggles in 1979, and its lyrics imagined a future where technology would change the way people experienced music. Then, 2 years later, the song became the first music video shown on MTV in the United States. That alone would have made it unforgettable. But the story came full circle in 2025, when MTV's remaining dedicated music video channels began shutting down. Video Killed the Radio Star was used as the final video on MTV Music in the UK.
And now we meet in an abandoned studio. We hear the playback and it's
Think about that. The song once symbolized the beginning of a new television era. Decades later, it symbolized the end of another. A song written in 1979, still telling the story of changing technology. That's not just nostalgia. That's history coming full circle.
motor, gun it coming off of the light show.
Number 3. My Sharona, The Knack. You don't need the title. You don't need the lyrics. You don't even need the singer. Just play that guitar riff, and almost everyone knows the song. My Sharona exploded in 1979 and reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making The Knack one of the biggest new bands of the moment. But enormous success can create an impossible problem. How do you follow the song that everybody knows?
Close enough to look in my eyes, Sharona, fitting up mystery.
The Knack never matched My Sharona in America again, and over time, the band faded from the mainstream spotlight. The song didn't. That opening riff remained instantly recognizable, continuing to appear in movies, television, playlists, and nostalgia culture.
When you gonna get to me, is it just a matter of time?
And that's why My Sharona is such a perfect one-hit wonder. It doesn't politely ask you to remember it. It simply starts playing, and your brain remembers everything for you. That's the power of a great riff.
Radio video, movie with a suitcase, you're living in a disco.
Number 2. Pop music. M.
I wanna dedicate it. Everybody made it.
In 1979, this song sounded almost impossible to classify. Was it pop? Disco? Electronic music? New wave? The answer was basically all of them. Pop music, created by Robin Scott under the name M, became a number 1 hit in America and sounded years ahead of its time.
In the subway, shovel with a shoe shine, makes me a Molotov.
Its strange production, electronic textures, spoken phrases, and playful attitude helped create something completely different from ordinary pop. But here's where the story gets remarkable. More than 4 decades later, pop music found a new audience on TikTok, bringing the song and Robin Scott back into the conversation.
Wanna be a gunslinger, don't be a rock singer. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, which way you wanna go? Talk about.
Music Radar reported on the track's renewed popularity and Scott's return to music. Think about that. A song designed in the late 1970s was suddenly being discovered by people who weren't even alive when it was released. Maybe pop music wasn't ahead of its time. Maybe its time finally caught up with it. Number 1. Ring My Bell, Anita Ward. And now we reach the comeback nobody could have predicted, Ring My Bell. When Anita Ward released the song in 1979, it became a massive disco hit, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Then the years passed, decades passed, and like so many one-hit wonders, the song became a piece of musical history. Until 2026. Suddenly, Ring My Bell exploded on TikTok, introducing the 1979 disco classic to a completely new generation. Billboard reported that the song became a viral streaming hit and reached number 1 on multiple Billboard digital sales charts. Think about how incredible that is. A song released nearly half a century ago, suddenly finding a brand new audience. Anita Ward may have thought her biggest moment was behind her, but Ring My Bell had other plans. Sometimes a hit doesn't disappear, it simply waits. And when the world is ready again, it rings. Before you leave, let me ask you something. Which one of these songs takes you straight back to 1979? Maybe it was playing on the radio during your first drive. Maybe you heard it at a party, on a jukebox, or in a room filled with people you haven't seen in decades. And maybe, for just a few seconds, that song brought someone back into your life. That's the strange power of music. A melody can disappear for 40 years, then suddenly play again, and somehow you're right back there. So don't just tell me your favorite song. Tell me the memory behind it. Leave your story in the comments. Someone reading it may remember the exact same moment. And if you want to keep bringing forgotten songs and memories back to life, like this video and subscribe. Because the next song we uncover might be the one you thought you'd forgotten forever.